Hi guys, it's Molly with Soul School Spiritual Guidance and Healing. Thank you for being here with me today. So, I'm going to be honest from the get-go. I have no idea how I'm going to upload this video because I'm going on day 6 of no internet in the jungle. And I do have a co-working space. You guys, it's the most beautiful co-working space, and it's in the jungle. It's even got a pool. It's beautiful. There are dogs there, and birds inside the palapa. You guys, I couldn't have asked for anything better. However, I'm not at that space today because I have to go into town the other direction and help with some volunteer stuff this afternoon. So I don't know when the internet's coming, but if you have found this video, I figured it out. So let's just go ahead and move along. I just feel like, you guys, this tremendous, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy shift. Definitely feel like I've been absorbing some brand new, the phrase that's coming into mind is like maybe even energy upgrades. I don't know. I laid down for a nap at like 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon and woke up at 2 in the morning. So usually when I go through, I get the really heavy sleeps like that, I do feel like it's some sort of ascension type stuff going on. So if you guys are going through that, please understand. This full moon that we just had was so transformative. And a lot of you guys, I feel like you don't even necessarily, how can I say this? The effect of this full moon was not at all superficial. No, that was a Scorpio full moon. The effects of this full moon are going to show up in your subconscious, in your psyche, in your dream state even. Yeah. I really feel like this deck just needs a great big cleansing. Give me 1 second. Okay, so while I'm smudging these decks, I'm just going to go ahead and get all 3. I'll tell you guys about this really amazing revelation, this message that I had as I was coming out of dream state this morning. And I don't know really how to describe, like it wasn't a visual or anything. I was in dream state. I was not here in the 3D. So it's almost like my guides were able to just sort of like, I don't know, I felt like I was just wrapped around this liquid energy and came to this realization about how manifestation works. What it means that we are the creators of our reality. And essentially what it is that it's like life gives you, presents to you, your journey through life, right? You are just presented with different energies. And when you learn to look at those in a neutral way, you realize you can do anything you want with that energy. Right? We are so used to, like, you encounter an energy and you begin to, like, I don't know how to say this. Like, there's an opportunity before us and we begin to almost place it in a box of expectations. Right? Expectations about what we'd like to have in our life. What can we make with this energy, right? I talk a lot about manifestation kind of and transmutation being about life giving you lemons and then you make the lemonade. You get to write the lemonade recipe. So when these lemons show up, this any kind of new energy, positive, negative, neutral, shows up in your life, you get to decide what to do with it. You don't have to keep the lemons. You can send them back, right? You can share the lemons with others. You can try to multiply the lemons and put them to a good use. Or you can just experiment with the many different recipes that call for lemons. Okay? I hope my message is getting through. But it was just this beautiful, beautiful state of neutrality, like this suspension of any sort of judgment or expectation. It's almost like this idea of you write the recipe as you go. The silver waterfall. I feel like this has a lot to do with the full moon energy that I'm talking about, okay? Because it's this cleansing energy. When you pass through the silver waterfall, it's like this cleansing of all chakras, cleansing of the energy body, cleansing of anything. That's really interesting. They're showing me like, okay, like cleaning out a fish tank. If you're cleaning out a fish tank, you get all the water out, you get all the stuff out, and there's like this muck on the glass, right? Like the build up, the residue. This is a cleansing of residues that the silver waterfall calls for, okay? And you can see she's totally naked, stepping through the silver waterfall. And there is a sense of that just being really unknown. What is on the other side and what am I going to create with it, right? And just the message that are coming in, it's almost like Spirit is encouraging us to not get so caught up on what that end result is going to look like, but rather to really enjoy and observe and get to know the process of creation. Okay? It's about getting to just, we got the beautiful star card. Strength, and then the devil reverse. You guys, I love this. Star, strength, the devil reversed. Okay? This message is just about hope. It is about the vision, having a vision, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. This is what this really wants to talk about. All right, let me go ahead and frame this. My guides do this a lot, and I like this. When I'm delivering messages, they go from like zooming into something as specific as a full moon to zooming out to this message that I came across this morning about starseeds awakening. Let's do this. Let's talk about the great awakening, all right, of starseeds and light workers all over the planet at this time and over the last several years. It's almost as if I was really feeling, you guys, like this full moon eclipse was a portal that represented like the end of a tunnel that we entered during an eclipse at the end of 2020, all right? So it's almost like we have been transported through this portal, and here we stand now, quite aware of our status as light beings, as multi-dimensional, energetic creators, co-creators of this reality that we live in. We know that we have the power. We've got access to the light, okay? What we get to do with it now is go through the process of like, it's almost like training, but it's practicing. Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. Practicing how to take all of this energy from the stars, right? Squeeze it into our little tiny human experience, our little tiny human body, and use it to overcome the limitations that have been handed to us since birth. And when I talk about the limitations that have been handed to us since birth, I'm talking about the 3D matrix that we were programmed to operate within. Now we're starting to see that there's so much more, right? But how do we take this and learn to sort of operate it in a new way? We have this energy that is literally, it's like the size of galaxies. Each of us has it within us, right? So how do we take that and use that within the world that we exist within at this time? Okay? Because this devil represents the matrix, the programming that we're not magical, that we're not beings of the galaxy, right? All this stuff that's been hidden from us about our own power and the vast reaches of our own consciousness, right? Yeah, that was the world that we were taught to operate in. Now that we know that we're magic, how do we learn to use that magic in this world? Okay? Something has been cleaned out of the way. I wish I could understand this a little bit better. There's been an energetic sweep. And I talked about that, you guys. Do you remember, if you go back a couple readings to the one that I did right before the eclipse, there was this like whale kind of like picking up another whale and carrying it over the ocean. And I remember a message coming in at that time about this, and almost like an energetic pulse moving through the collective that had the effect of just clearing away some of that old residue. I love it. I love it. All right. So next, by the way, True Love reading cards, Inversion Tarot. Don't you love this? I love the white on black. I love that deck. And then we've got the Revelations Tarot with Zach Wong. Okay. So the tarot card was, or the Tower card was sitting on the bottom, and I just had to pause for a moment to see if it did have a message for us. But yes, it does. All this, like, these little tiny fragments that made up the tower being sort of just like exploded out into the universe. It's almost like these are the starseeds. Okay, I had been talking for a while about some sort of energy that was almost like being held over our particular collective consciousness to keep us from being aware. Almost just like to keep us from being aware of our own magic. Being aware of the energies that are available to us. Okay, so this Tower card came out again. It is most definitely a part of our reading. And this looks like an eye. Doesn't that kind of look like a little eye? It's just, I don't know, you guys. This is a yet to come. There is still yet a pulse. I feel like that was like an invisible and energetic pulse. I feel like there's going to be something in the media. On the world stage kind of thing, right? That is going to open a lot of eyes and free a lot of people. Okay. What they're showing me is these beautiful little golden squares. Each of them represents one of us. It represents like a soul. It represents an energy, right? And there's some sort of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's this vortex in the middle. Ooh, can we get that? There's this vortex in the middle, okay? But it's appearing to my mind's eye as this like magnetic, like it's a pole. Like it's a magnet that all these little golden pieces are magnetized to. And it's like something is happening to disrupt its electromagnetic fields so that all of these things that are clinging, that are attracted to it, can be set free. And then they bring me back to the silver waterfall. There is just this sense I get that there are things going on an energetic level that they're like, we can't even squeeze them into words right now. Okay, all right, don't worry. Five of Wands reversed, which Five of Wands, by the way, sitting here at the bottom of this deck as well. I do want to bring it up. But also, when I get a minor come up after three majors, this is not a part of the sentence, okay? Now, we got another Five of Wands, and it's reversed, okay? It really is about remaining united as much as possible. I kind of talked about this in my last reading, that if you encounter somebody who's newly on the path, and they just seem a little misguided about some things, don't judge. Do not cast them off the path. Do your best to call them in, or at least compose yourself and conduct yourself in a way that enlightens their journey. Okay? That's just it's not even my advice. That's the advice that's coming through. Okay? It's a plea. It's a plea. Because it really is about, like, we're literally creating timelines at this point in time. Okay? I saw something, you guys, you know how it is. There's so much information out there. I don't have resources and data, and this is where I got this from. But it was this notion that it only takes like a certain percent of the collective consciousness to affect real change. And so somebody did the math and was like, dude, if we had 8,000 people on this planet with a collective intention for the highest timeline of humanity on this planet at this time, that's the result that we would get. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're so powerful when we unite our intentions. And there is going to be, okay, I understand. Okay, I feel like these energies, the matrix energies, are almost like, man, okay, I'm just kind of being called to deliver messages that I don't always like to get into. Okay. They're showing me the symbols that we have for like the powers that be behind closed doors, right? Like it's like a dark boardroom, okay? And it's almost like there are plans in effect to launch a fear campaign, as if we don't have enough running in the world right now, okay? They want to put us in this state, okay? Do you see that? Because I don't know, you guys, something about these purple energies, they don't have, it's almost like, I don't know how to say it. Okay, they're showing me, it's this like pillar. It's almost kind of like, oh my gosh, is that the Death Star? Maybe it's inside the Death Star, okay? When they go to that room where it's like just this giant room, right? And it's circular, and there's some sort of like metal like pillar in the middle that generates like the force field that surrounds the Death Star. Okay, you guys? It's like galactic stuff. I don't know. Okay? But it's this giant, and I don't know if this is a real thing or if they're showing me a metaphor. All right? And it's creating this magnetic force field that the unconscious are attached to. They are attracted to. It is a magnet for those who are not awake and aware. And it's like, man, they got like Obi-Wan Kenobi sneaking in there and like powering down that, whatever that generator is. Okay? And in the loss of that power, I feel like the way that they want to maintain that magnetism is through, it's I don't know, I keep hearing the phrase fear campaign. Fear campaign, anxiety campaign. I am only the messenger. I'm only the messenger, and very grateful to be. Okay? Very grateful to be. They want me to pull more cards. Let me see what's up with that. This is so aesthetic. We're throwing in the whispers of the Ocean Oracle. Thank you so much, Divine Spirits of Love and Light. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys are interested in booking a personal reading with me, all the information is down below. There's a link over to the website. And I also want to introduce prorated pricing. Reach out to me if you guys have any questions. Reach out to me anytime you guys want to book directly with me. My hours are also going to be able to open up now. They've got that beautiful jungle co-working space. You guys can get a little preview of it over on my TikTok. That is Soul School Molly. Every step counts. I feel like we need more. I love this card. This is like one of my favorite cards. Shedding the old. Didn't we talk about this? That silver waterfall. I'm going to put him by the silver waterfall. It looks like he's like under the silver waterfall. They are under the silver waterfall. Ooh, you guys. They just showed me that on the other side of this waterfall, like you're walking from this normal world through the waterfall. You would expect to pass through the waterfall and enter into another world that's set up like this. But no, when you get through that waterfall, we're underwater. And to me, that just means more deeply immersed in our own consciousness. More deeply in command of our own consciousness. So that it's not just a way of experiencing the world, but a way of co-creating it. 10, 11. What else wants to come out? 2. Diving to new depths. Okay, back on task, you guys. I relate to this. How many of you, raise your hand if you feel like your energy was just in time out until this new moon, this full moon eclipse came in and was like, ding, like break over. Let's get to work. Back on task. Be sure you're using your time in the best possible manner. They want to point me back towards this. Don't look. You have no responsibility to anybody in the world to stay updated on the news. You don't. You don't. The world will not stop turning if you decide not to tune in. If it's in your best interest, if it keeps you happy and productive, don't even watch the news. Okay? Do not put yourself in the line of fire of the fear campaign. Okay? You might consider reviewing your goals, checking your schedule or a project you're working on. Everything could use some fine tuning. We are in Mercury retrograde, okay? Go back, review your data. Options that you thought were closed to you could be open now. Options that you thought were desirable, you might now see as less so. But also, like, the message that this octopus is bringing, is he a squid? Is that, like, many of us are realizing that we're really, really, really quite capable of things that we told ourselves in the past we were not. Bottom line. Okay? He's like, are you sure you can't? Because I think you can. This little octopus has faith in us, or squid, whatever he is. I'm sorry. He's so cute. He's got little, like, baby Cthulhu vibes, though, right? Okay, we got 4 cards out of this deck. Let's get them all. The first one out says, every step counts. There is an advantage in taking things slowly. Breathe deeply and fully as you consider your options. And the message that always comes through with this guy is that all of these little cilia on his back, these are sensory organs, all right? Many of us, what it means when we have stepped through this waterfall into an underwater realm, it's like, oh my God, we're already 20 minutes in. It's kind of like I was trying to describe, this was probably on TikTok a while back, how, like, my energy body has become almost like a sensory organ, right? I just move through the world in a different way, and I don't believe that I'm the only one, right? We're so much more aware of like the ether. It's not empty space. We're aware of the quantum field around us, right? We interact with energy in a very, 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 very different way. So this dude's underwater, and I feel like he's still kind of learning how these new sensory organs work. Okay? And that's okay. This is like sandbox time. This is playtime. If you have a new power or ability or sense, this is a time to just play with it, get to know it, have fun with it. What are the different things that you can do with lemons? Okay? It's like we got like a new juicer or something like that. And Spirit's like, there might be more things that you can do with those lemons than you used to be able to. All right? We have shedding the old. This is actually a very beautiful root-heart connection. Okay? Root-heart connection. To me, that really represents an energy in which you feel safe enough to play. Because think about it. If you were a child that did not feel a sense of safety, you can't really like play and have fun. The same is true of our heart chakra, where inner child sits. We can't play and have fun if we don't feel safe in our environment. Many of you guys are beginning to feel safe in your identity, safe in maybe even like a new community, a new group of people that accepts you as you are. And you're beginning to realize that there are lots of things you used to do that you might still do unconsciously, that they are coping mechanisms to help that you have used in the past to help you squeeze yourself into places you didn't fit into. And you can begin to like review that, right? What are all the ways I used to act that I only did in order to fit myself into places that didn't really fit me well, okay? It's the I heart Huckabees. How am I not myself? How am I not myself? How am I not myself? Okay? Because you get to be yourself now. You get to be yourself now. You're learning how to be in this new body, this new... you guys, I am not the only one who has been through these DNA upgrades. I know it. Please comment below if you feel something like this. Okay? But here we are in this underground world, and look what they're doing, diving to new depths. We have these 2 whales again. You guys, this is our... I don't even want to say spirit, because when I talk about spirit, that makes it feel like just really generic, like, oh, it's just coming out of the ether. These are galactic guides. Okay? I know I've been working a lot with Arcturians lately. In dream state, you can do that anytime, fall asleep, and like just set the intention of consent. And you can invite that energy in. Okay? This is Syrian now, is it? Is it? Okay. Ah, okay. 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 I hope I can express this. Okay, you guys. This picture will help actually. This is the cover. Okay? Imagine this is you, this is your heart. You are an electromagnetic field, okay? You can control your own energy in such a way that it pulses outward. This is underwater, right? So imagine like an underwater pulse. And it's going to affect everything in that body of water. It's almost to say that you have the power, you have the ability to interact with consciousness in this way, okay? And diving to new depths with our ability to do that. The reason this has to do with the Syrians is because of past just messages, the conversations that I have with Syrians, what it means that I am so, you guys, I'm really in contact with my past Syrian lives and my future Syrian self. And the energy, their sort of like expertise is how to manipulate one's own energy in a way that creates a manipulation in the energy around us. And when I'm talking about like, this is how they build things. They can just create things out of thin air. Because they understand, okay, this is big. Okay. That there's no difference between like a molecule in my body that is solid and an air molecule. My energy can penetrate all of that, right? Which means there's no separation between me and that wall over there. Because on the other side of this molecule, let's say this is like the last molecule that's me. The next one is air. And there's more air molecules. They're all connected until they eventually meet that wall right there, right? So it's understanding what it means to have this new energy body and how we can use it. How we can begin to fine-tune the resonance of our environment by doing that, okay? And also learning about when that's happening so that we don't do it unintentionally. This is really big. It's kind of big for me. This is a bigger message than I thought was going to come through today. So I'm going to get one final card from the True Love reading cards. Is it you? Okay, come back out if it is. And see if we can't get any more advice just for being in this moment right now. It's the same way, right? Like the only moment that you have at your command is this one, right? The past is gone. The future is not, it's not here and now, okay? However, we do have influence over the past and the future energetically. It's only when we begin to see it as one fluid field rather than segments. Okay? But yeah, just the moment is in front of you. What are you going to do with it? It's the same way with the lemons and the energy. It's in front of you, and that's how you create your realities. You just decide what are you going to do with the energy that's been presented to you. Come on, Spirit. What do we got? I'm not going to argue. The Divine Feminine. This is the being and not the doing. This is the literal be the change you wish to see in the world. Be that energy. Whatever you want to bring into the world, like the masculine energy is to go out there and to do and to make, right? The feminine energy is just to foster, to nurture, and to allow the thing to grow. This is like a new way of creation, of manifestation. this fluidity, this fluid like energy that we find ourselves in, we will be able to most effectively interact with it from a feminine approach, a more receptive approach than a masculine one, okay? So, practice being, okay? Practice being. It's not about doing things in the world outside of us. It's about the change begins within us and the energy that we want to create. And this is what leads us to essentially, this is the fruit that we bear. Okay? Interesting. Interesting. Final message, you guys. The tree, look at how the tree creates the fruit, right? Versus how a lumberjack creates a log cabin. The tree doesn't do much, but it does. It does. It creates, it nurtures, it fosters, right? Which is different than the lumberjack. All right, you guys, that's the message. I love you all. I cannot wait to get this message to you. And drop me a hello in the comments below if you got it, okay? All right, bye.